Hey everyone, this is Prashant. Today I want to talk about how to learn AI product craft. Steve Jobs famously said that there is a lot of work to be done between a good idea, a visionary idea, and a successful product. People usually think that if you have a good AI product idea, you call an LLM and then your product is developed. That is not the case. Like in the real world, Steve Jobs said that you need to understand there are certain things plastics cannot do. There are certain things glass cannot do. And there are certain ways to bring those materials together to build a successful product. And that is usually done by dozens of people, very talented people, making hundreds of decisions, many of them very, very important decisions. And they use their knowledge, their skill, their collaboration, their discussions, even conflict sometimes, to take an idea from the idea stage to a successful product stage. And that is usually referred to as product craft. In the age of AI, we need to develop a set of skills and practices that will make um, the collection of AI product craft. So there are a lot of things that product managers, designers, and engineers need to understand. For example, they need to understand what grounding is, what context engineering is, what parsing is. What are the tools? What is a context window? Why that matters? What is guardrails? Why that matters? There are many things that product managers, designers, and engineers need to understand for them to become successful AI product developers. So I thought we will put together, and because this field is emerging, and unlike physical materials, the materials that we work with today, AI models, change almost every week. So what was true last week or last month is not true anymore. And there are new skills and new techniques and even new concepts that people need to understand and put them to use. So I thought I'd put together an AI product craft collection, and I'm doing that for some friends and colleagues. And this is a prototype of how the approach that I am taking. So let me sign into this product, and you'll see what I mean by what I mean by a new approach that I'm taking. So, when I went to graduate school, this is about the pedagogy, the approach of teaching and learning. When I went to graduate school, my professors took a very specific approach. I studied industrial design, and uh, every day there was a topic, and there were about 15 of us in the class, and our professors used to sit with each and every one of us for about half an hour to 45 minutes. That is how we learned things from our professors. It was a one-on-one conversation. The professor, obviously a very, very informed and knowledgeable and experienced person, will um, adjust the conversation to our levels. Some of us were less experienced, some of us were more experienced on a certain topic. For example, like production engineers are more experienced about materials engineering. Those who came from um, an architecture background or a software engineering background were good at certain things. So they adjusted their level of conversation to our level and our level of understanding, and explained things to us without looking down upon us. And of course, they were generous, and they were sharing, and so on. Of course, that kind of education is very expensive, and it's available only to a very few. Even if they are smart, sometimes due to circumstances, you don't get that kind of education. So I was thinking, okay, how about we apply that kind of education um, to learning AI craft, and what if a very, very knowledgeable professor is sitting next to you and will explain things to you patiently, no matter how long it takes. And it will not just give the answer to you, but will coach you and will also evaluate your skills and gently nudge you, and after understanding the level you are in, gently nudge you to learn things, um, and so on. So I've taken that approach, and I've used I've used AI models and voice technologies, which is my background. So I tried something out. So this is a prototype. I've developed this for one topic, one piece of knowledge, say in the AI product craft, called grounding. So, like in any course, there will be a lesson. There will be learning objectives on the top. What is grounding? Why? How will you do grounding? Why is it important? How will you talk about grounding, and so on. I put a standard video that I have about grounding, which is already published. I put it there. But then I and the content about that grounding is here, so you can learn it, read it like an article, understand it, listen to the video. Same information is repeated here in text format. But then you can also um, initiate a session with your professor, your coach. So let's see how that works.
Welcome to the grounding assessment. I'm your AI coach for this lesson. Before we begin, what's your name?
My name is Prashant.
Great to meet you, Prashant. Here's how this works. I'm going to ask you 3 questions about AI grounding. After each answer, I'll give you feedback. If you're stuck or unsure, just say so. I'm here to help you learn, not to test you. At the end, I'll give you a summary of how you did. Ready to start?
Yeah, that sounds good. It's a bit like how my professors did this in graduate school. I really appreciate that.
Excellent. Let's dive into the first question then. Your team is building an AI feature that answers employee questions about company benefits. A stakeholder asks, why can't we just use the model as is? It already knows a lot about benefits. How would you explain why grounding is necessary for this feature?
I would say that grounding is necessary because the large language models that the AI feature will use is trained on publicly available information, whereas the benefits policy document is specific to this company. And the LLM is not trained on this specific benefits policy. Not only that, if you do not provide a grounding document, then the large language model will likely hallucinate or pick information from the from the internet, and give an incorrect answer. Because benefits are very important, somebody will make important benefits decisions related to health or insurance based on incorrect information. So grounding is absolutely necessary. That's what I'll say.
That's a very strong answer, Prashant. You've hit on the key points. Without grounding, the model would rely on its general training data, which might sound correct but could be entirely wrong for your company's specific policies. Grounding ensures the answers are derived directly from your actual benefits documents, making them trustworthy and accurate for employees to make important decisions. Ready for the
Yeah, I'm ready for the next one. Yeah.
Great. Here's the next scenario. A colleague says, we've grounded the model in our policy document, so we're good to go. The answers will be accurate. What would you say to them?
I would say that while grounding significantly improves the accuracy, it doesn't guarantee that the answer will be 100% accurate for a number of reasons. For example, the grounding document itself may have incorrect information. It might not be structured properly. It might have conflicting information. One section may say something, the other section may say something else, and so on. So for those reasons, and by the way, the document could also have inherent bias too. So for that reason, grounding a document does not necessarily guarantee that the AI feature will always get the answer right 100%. So there are these factors to consider.
That's a very insightful response, Prashant. You're absolutely right that grounding improves accuracy, but doesn't guarantee it. You correctly pointed out that the quality of the source material matters, and outdated or contradictory documents can lead to poor answers. Also, the model can still misinterpret or oversimplify information. You also touched on bias, which is a critical consideration. Let's move on to the final question.
Okay.
You're the product manager for an AI powered assistant that helps procurement teams review vendor contracts. The engineering team has the model and the retrieval system ready. What are the key product decisions you need to make before this feature goes live? And why does each one matter?
I need to think about source selection. First, I need to think about talk to the subject matter experts and find out what are the source documents that they consider important. Which is the document that must be looked at? Which is the document that should be looked at first? Things like that. Then the boundaries of the scope. For example, what are the questions the AI feature powered by the large language model should not answer? For example, if accidentally there is a um, personally identifiable information, PII, like a name or a phone number or an email, the large language model should not, or the AI feature should not pick that information, even if it is included in the document by accident. The third one is, if there is a failure, that if the AI feature is not able to find answers, then it should not make up answers. It should say, I don't know. You should talk to your HR colleague. And then finally, it should also say source transparency. Where did it get this information from? Here is the answer. I got this information from this particular document, this particular page, and this particular section. That is where the benefit policy came from. So those are the things that I would consider.
That's an excellent and comprehensive answer, Prashant. You've covered all the critical product decisions. Source selection is vital because using the wrong documents leads to incorrect answers. Defining scope boundaries is crucial to ensure the AI assistant only answers appropriate questions and avoids sensitive or out of scope information. Your point about the failure experience is spot on. A clear fallback builds trust, preventing the model from hallucinating. And finally, source transparency is key for users to verify the information and build confidence in the system. All right, Prashant, that's all three questions. Here's your summary. I'd give you a 5 out of 5. You demonstrated a very strong understanding of AI grounding, its necessity, its limitations, and the key product decisions required for successful implementation. Your answers were thorough, insightful, and hit all the important points for each question. You're in great shape with your understanding of grounding. Keep up the excellent work.
Thank you very much. So while I also added an assessment part where if you are not confident about the answers, you can actually see the question and the answers, and then um, respond in your own words. So what this does is, when this kind of a conversation happens, conversation is the best learning technology that is available. When you talk to someone knowledgeable who is willing to share and willing to listen, you learn a lot more. Your neurons get arranged in a certain way when you talk to people. That is why it's always good to talk to experts. So that is here. And I have added I'm going to make this available for everyone to come and experience. It's free. I have added an authentication because I don't want this to be public. I want people to log in and do it, because I want to restrict, say, automated use. um, I'm going to build on this a little bit. For example, I'll add other things like context engineering and so on. And I believe that this will be a useful tool for product managers and managers who want to train their teams. Right. I hope that helps. Thank you very much.